My beautiful friends, what a way to start off a new year. So here we are, you and me, the first day, the first trading day, let's put it that way, of a new year, and we get new all-time record highs for the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the S&P 500, with the Nasdaq putting on the largest gain despite the fact that, we had quite a significant move higher today in the 10-year yield. People, bear with me on this video. I have a lot to talk about, and I am going to keep all of you and put all of you in the right spots here, because we witnessed an incredible phenomenon today. And I don't know how many of you actually caught it, but, we're going to put some light on that. Let's go back to the markets real quick. So, like I just told you, new record high for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. New record high for the S&P 500. Not a surprise to a single one of you who follow this blog. Don't you just laugh? Every time you hear some freak out here, and it seems like a monthly occurrence, talking about market crashes, meltdowns, this or that, and they're consistently, repeatedly, and 100% wrong. With every single one of their calls, as far back as you want to go. They're never going to get it right. These people, they're never going to get it right. Sure, one time we are going to suffer a major financial, cataclysm. There's no doubt about it. But they're not going to time it right. They don't know what they're looking at, these kind of people. They have no clue at all how the market works. And some of them, in fact, I'm just going to mention his name, Robert Kiyosaki, whatever his name is, he admits he doesn't own a share of stock. Meanwhile, this guy, although we do have some common things, he and I, with regard to, betting against the debt, that's been my theme since day one. It seems like a lot of people kind of jumped on my coattails with regard to, betting against the debt, becoming your own central bank. That's my thing, okay? When you hear it come out of the mouth of anyone else, you know where they got it from. But again, these kind of people here, they're never going to get it right. They don't understand the drivers of the market. They don't know what's going on. And we're going to cover some of that today, because I guarantee you what I'm going to talk about here was missed or will be missed by all those kind of people, and probably a lot of people. You got to know what you're looking at in this market. What am I talking about? So like I said, despite the fact that we had a significant gain in the 10-year yield today, and the relative strength of the dollar did reverse and go higher today. Things I've been telling you would happen. Okay, they're happening right now. What is actually going on? Sit down for this one. The market today is pricing in a rate hike from the Federal Reserve. Now let's look at how the market responded. Okay, so the market's trying to price this in. This is how markets work. Markets are forward-looking. I think most of you at least understand that. Meaning they kind of base price action today on what's going to happen in the future. That's how it works. Okay, so what the market is doing now and did today clearly is it's pricing in a Federal Reserve rate hike sometime relatively soon. Henceforth, why 10-year yield came up like that. The relative strength of the dollar came up. And as I've been explaining to you, in fact, this was one of my top 5 trends for 2022, is you are going to see the relative strength of the dollar stay high, but its absolute strength is going to crater, meaning we're going to see a lot more inflation moving forward. Hold that thought too. So, like I said, very interesting dynamics in play today in this market. So even with the market pricing in a rate hike, okay, sometime soon from the Fed, it's going to be meaningless. I mean, we're talking about dog shit here, honestly. The market knows it. How do we know that the market knows it? Record high for the Dow Jones Industrial Average, record high for the S&P 500, and most of you already know this, but I'm going to tell you, tech stocks are very interest rate sensitive. So even with the 10-year yield coming up like it did today, The NASDAQ was the biggest gainer. This is, again, people, listen to Greg Mannarino. Open your eyes a little bit. This is the market pricing in a rate hike. So what does it mean when we get a rate hike? You probably know what I'm going to tell you right now. The market is going higher. I know people are shocked to hear that. Oh, if the Fed raises rates, the market's going to crater. How about the polar opposite is going to happen? And we can tell by action in the market today. It's very easy to see. But like I said, when you hear people out here who have no clue how market dynamics work, well, of course they're going to be calling for market crash after weekly, monthly market crashes. They don't know what they're looking at. So ignore these people. Ignore them all. All right, people. So what else happened today? Some other interesting phenomenons. Cryptocurrencies reversed and fell under pressure. Gold and silver under pressure too. Why? The game remains risk on. Why? Well, the market's pricing in a freaking Federal Reserve rate hike, and look what happened. Okay, so again, when we get the hike, the market's going to go crazy, all right? Because it's not going to be anything at all meaningful, despite the fact that we're seeing inflation surge at its fastest pace in history, despite the fact that we have extreme negative rates here in the United States. I mean, 30-year, about 1.92%, with the rate of inflation now near 7%. You got to be kidding me. People are getting robbed freaking blind. And it's completely out of control. A central bank here who's not being held to account. Let me ask you, do you find it at all disturbing that not one of our so-called caring, loving representatives is calling the Federal Reserve to account? Asking them to explain, you have a 2% target, Mr. Chairman. Federal Reserve, chairperson Yellowstein, you have a 2%. We're at near 7, sir. Where did you go wrong? Why are we not hearing this? Because again, we have no representation. We have no government that represents the people. It's the Federal Reserve. It's the central banks around the world who are the freaking government. Do you need more proof? How much more proof do you need? I don't know. Anyway, let us move forward here, people. So today, understanding what I told you about how the market is pricing in a Federal Reserve rate hike. You watch the 10-year yield. You're watching the relative strength of the dollar. You're seeing the market now hitting record highs. With crude oil, yet again, catching a bid. All right, now like over $76 a barrel. Let me ask you, what sector of the market do you believe would be the best performer of the day? Energy, yes, energy. And for those of you out here that got in on my XLE call several weeks ago, well, today alone you put on over 3%. Okay, look, banks, like I've been telling you to buy these things, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, let these freaking institutions work for you. You understand? Look, you can either let the system destroy you, and most people are letting that happen, or you can weaponize it, like I've been telling you for the longest time. On top of that, people, we found this out, and again, you will not be surprised at all. So farmers are stating that their materials and labor costs, well, operating costs as well, are skyrocketing due to inflation. And yes, we are going to see higher food prices, much higher, along with energy. Now, I've told all of you, as a matter of fact, that too was one of my top 5 trends for 22. Food and energy inflation. Get used to it. Do something about it. Don't sit back and do nothing. Again, take the system by the freaking horns and make it work for you. That's all this blog is about. How many times have I told you that this blog here is for winners, not losers who want to sit here and talk about, market crashes every other freaking month. These people are, well, they're all retarded, okay? Tell them all I said they're retarded, okay? And I know I'm going to lose some people because I keep using that retarded word, but I'm not. Look, do you think I'm actually sitting here condemning anyone that's mentally challenged? No, I'm talking about people who think they're smart, like whoever they may be, calling for, monthly market crashes and are wrong over and over again. Yeah, they're the retards. You understand? Not anyone who's got some kind of serious mental disability. Look, if you want to unsub because they use the R word too much, please feel free to do it and go and watch one of these other idiots. You understand? And let's see how you fare in the freak show. Anyway, so what else can I tell you, people? I wrote down a few more things here, people. So here's the deal. I want you to pay attention to this, and I want to hear how surprised you are. 44% of people between the ages of 18 and 34 say they are drowning in debt. When you have a system that is debt-based, the beast system is debt-based. Somebody asked me a question earlier on my previous video blog this morning. Greg, how is it that cryptocurrency is not a part of the beast system? Do you know why? Because it's not debt-based. Cryptocurrencies are not debt-based. And I understand there's a lot of people out here who continue to badmouth cryptocurrencies. You have all kinds of nicknames for it. Well, had you listened to this guy and started buying at 3,000, buying it again at 5,000, 15,000, 25,000, even 41,000, you wouldn't think that now today, would you? Unless, of course, you're stuck in the actual beast system, which are debt-based units being issued by central banks, dollars being one of them, okay? And you're going to keep missing the boat. Look, all I can do is advise you on what I feel or enlighten you as to what I feel is the right things that you should be doing in this market. And I've nailed it to the wall, all right? You don't want to listen to Greg Mannarino? Like I said, feel free to unsubscribe and go listen to anybody else you want. And I guarantee you're going to lose. And I don't want anyone to lose around here, people. Anyway, what else can I say? I would expect, now look, I'm going to go out on a little bit of a limb here. Yes, we've seen this market make quite a run over the past several weeks higher. I told you it was coming, the Santa Claus rally. Are we going to get some kind of January effect where the market goes higher? It's possible too. But again, we don't get pullbacks anymore. We don't get corrections anymore. We need one. This market needs a 5%, 10%, even a 15% correction. Are we going to get it? I have no idea. But I'm telling you right here and now, we need it. And what would Greg Mannarino tell you to do in that kind of a scenario? Run for the hills, go in a corner somewhere, wrap yourself up in a blanket and suck your freaking thumb? No. Greg Mannarino is going to tell you to stick to the strategy that has been working for I don't even know how freaking long. Okay, years of freaking years. Buy the dips, people. Buy the dips in everything. Don't get fancy here and short this market or crude oil. I heard from someone today who took a freaking bloodbath by shorting crude oil. Have you heard me one time out here once telling people to short crude oil or short anything? No. So, I can't help you. I can't help anybody who's doing the polar opposite of what I'm saying they should do. What can I do? People take losses by doing the opposite of what I am saying. In other words, betting against me. And I told all of you, any one of you, I don't care who you are, even if you're one of my Lions. And I know for a fact that my Lions would not bet against me. Because my Lions do realize that if they were to try to do that, more than likely they're going to end up in a lot of trouble. And I don't want anyone to lose. Please don't short this market. Please don't short crude or any freaking thing. You understand? This market and everything connected to it remains. Buy the dips. Until the dynamics change, people. And the dynamics are not changing in this market. The market is still risk on. You saw cash leave crypto today. You saw cash leave gold and silver today. You saw the 10-year yield make a nice jump higher. What does it mean? What does it mean? It means cash is going to make its way into the freaking stock market. People, look, like I've been telling you, I am out here working as hard as I freaking can to keep all of you on the right side of this market, despite the dog shit idiot retards telling you to do the polar opposite. Look what happens. Look what happens to people when they decide to do the opposite of what I'm explaining. Well, they get hurt. Look, I'm not always right. That's the truth. But if you've been with me for any length of time, out of 10 calls, how many times do you think I get it wrong? Maybe once or twice, maybe? So, again, like I said, before I get all freaking bent out of shape, I am trying hard to help you. I really am. And if you let me do that, I will. But if you decide to go get fancy or take the opposite side of the trade that I'm on, it's not going to end well for you. Odds are it will not end well for you. And I don't want that. Okay? I want us all to win. That's the beauty of this. We can all win. You understand? We can all win by paying attention to what's going on here, realizing how the whole freak show actually works, the dark underbelly of it, okay? And we will make the correct decisions most of the time. Are we going to get it right 100%? No. But most of the time we will, if we just pay a little attention to what's going on. You understand? I think you do. Let me see. What else I got here, people? Anyway, with regard to the MMRI, I want all of you out here. Right now, as a matter of fact, in the description of this video is a link to the MMRI. Okay, I want you to click on that. I'm going to wait right here for a second. Click on that link. Did you find it? It's right in the description of this video. Open up a new window. Okay, now that you're on my website page, I want you to scroll down because it's right at the top. I want you to start looking more at the MMRI. The MMRI made a pretty significant move higher today. Why? The action in the debt market. And that's the driver of the MMRI. The higher the MMRI is, the more risk there is in the market. So even though we have the market pricing in a rate hike, clearly, for the Fed, okay, and the market's going to respond positively to that, mark my words, okay, risk is also rising in the market. What I want you to do, really, don't take my advice if you don't want to, okay? And do the opposite of what I'm saying and see how it works out for you. But I want you to do every freaking day, every single day, is go to my lovely website, traderschoice.net, and look at the MMRI. What is it saying? All right? Risk rising in the market doesn't mean you're going to do anything. You're not going to change your strategy or our strategy. You're just going to be more mindful as to what is going on around you. You understand? So every freaking day, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go to my website, traderschoice.net, top of the second page, and click on that link there and look at the MMRI. You understand? I hope you take my advice. I really do. So anyway, let us move forward here. So people, look, what's the bottom line? The bottom line is I want you to be ready for a Fed rate hike. And I want you to understand how the market's going to respond based on what we saw today. The market is going higher after a Fed rate hike, not lower, because it will be meaningless, number one. And the market knows that. So the market is pricing it in. You understand? With regard to other assets, people, I'm going to tell you right now, just buy the dips. All right? Continue to buy the dips in everything. Nothing has changed. Our strategy remains the same. You understand? I think you do. All right, look, I want to apologize for being a little direct here in this video, but when I hear from people like today, and they ask for my help, when they decide to do something polar opposite of what I say, I can't help you. I can't help any of you. You want to go against what I'm saying? You do so at your own risk. You want to bet against Greg Mannarino or his Lions out here? Trust me on this one. It's a bad idea. All right. And we can all win. We're all going to win if we just maintain our current strategy and be steadfast and see through the dog shit, the cat shit, the freaking bird shit. You understand? We got it covered. We really do. All right. I'm out of here. Love you a lot. Let me hear from you. Please comment. I will read the comments on this video blog. I promise. And I will see you in the morning.